In three, two, one, recording in progress now. So, welcome everybody. We are in March. Can you think about it? And we have a nice topic. A topic that I like a lot is conversational AI. And with conversational AI, we mean a few things. So, Yaver and I have prepared some demo for today. I will focus on speech or voice synthesis, speech recognition. And this is done in Azure using one of the cognitive services. A quick implementation into a chatbot, just to stay in the topic of conversational AI, because then Java will move into PVA, Power Virtual Agent, and show you how to create a chatbot with 0 line of code. Can you believe that? I'm the nerd one. I'm going to show you C# code, how to build a chatbot that can talk and can listen to your voice and hopefully understand you. Instead, Java will focus on writing 0 line of code and building an even better chatbot in PVA, Power Virtual Agent. Java, welcome. What else for to say before we start?
Thank you so much, Stefano. Really appreciate. And can you hear me? If you please can
Yes, all
confirm.
good, all good.
Thanks. Thank you. And thanks everyone. Stefano, will you give me, make me moderator for time being, or I will able to share my screen?
I can definitely make you able to share. Try now, and then you can start.
Thank you.
And yes, we can see your screen.
That's great. Thank you everyone. And I will just quickly move my tabs and make sure everything is good. Thank you so much, everyone, and thanks, Stefano, for supporting and helping in arranging this meetup today. As Stefano mentioned, basically with Conversation AI, Microsoft has offered more than one products. So there is a range of products, and they range from someone who is a hardcore developer to someone who is just a business user or just a student, someone who don't know much about coding. So what part I am presenting is about no code and low code configurational bots. For these one, we don't need any programming knowledge. Yet, if we have programming understanding of programming, it will help. But we will see. We will see in a minute. Basically, we don't need any programming language or knowledge for that. Uh, Currently, I am sharing my desktop, where in browser I have opened Power Virtual Agent environment. And what we are seeing currently is a bot which is out of box available. I have created this trial environment just a couple of hours back, and when we are creating that time, environment asks us what bot we want to create. For example, I gave this name Bobby, and if we want to create a new bot, going from this button, clicking new bot, we can create a new bot, and we will only need to tell which language that bot will be operating, because PVA offers now multiple languages, and some of them are in preview, but a lot of languages, may not be a lot, but many languages. There is Danish, Dutch, English, French, German, Indonesian, Italian, Japanese, and that list keep going, and even Turkish, Russian. Some of the languages are under preview, but these preview languages also work. So first of all, there is a great variety of languages available if you want to do something or create a bot. So let's start exploring this environment. Basically, I will just give some ideas and show how easy it is to create a bot, and anyone can start creating bots, because a concept of bot is not now just not like it used to be. Like on a website we have a bot. Now another trend is in businesses we can create our knowledge boards as well. For example, a HR professional can create a bot which will be maybe doing some process of HR. Any employee will chat to that bot will respond their questions, and this way HR bot will resolve the issues. Even bot can talk to backend systems. For example, just imagine we want to see a website or a system where we want to check status of order. So that is a perfect case. We can use bot will we will tell maybe order number or details of our order, and bot will communicate with backend system, get the details and let us know. So, and the good thing is, as Stefano also mentioned before, that sort of things we can do without any knowledge of coding. So let's start exploring it. If I say hi to my bot just have responded me, how I can help you with account question. I can help you with account questions, order, store information. I'm just saying store information. Okay. To clarify, did you mean now, because this is a just a trial and I have not done any change it, so it is bringing all these topics or suggestions which are available as a out of box. But in a minute we will see how we can switch and make it more close to our requirements. So if I say store locations, okay, bot said I'm not able to find a related topic. Can you rephrase? You just have noticed maybe like bot has said related topics. So this is a sort of concept related to bot, and there is another button which say track between topics. Now if I switched it on this right hand side, you will able to experience and see what are topics and how bot communication is going on. I will restart chatting with bot. Again I'm saying hi. Okay, now we can see since I have turned this option on, so we can see basically this is a topic, and what it is doing is topic is a topic of conversation, and this topic will be triggered like these are suggestions for bot, maybe good morning, good afternoon, hello, and some of these, and we can add further topics as well. So based on these topics, this particular topic will be triggered, and what it will do further is it will return us a message. Hi, I am a virtual agent. I can help you with account questions, orders, store information, and more. Then this next message, and finally the third message. So we are seeing it here. Now let's try, and I can help you with account questions, orders, store information, and more. Okay, let's try. Uh, are there any stores near me? Okay, now with this term basically finding is there was another topic which was configured. So based on that, it just have that topic was going to be triggered in these phrases, with these phrases. So in response of these topics, it just have said, I'm glad to help find a store near you. Now further it is asking what is my location, since that trial was configured with a USA in environment, and also like with a trial these USA states come, so it is showing me these options. Let me select maybe Redmond. Okay, so it just have responded, check out company store at our visitor center. Address is Main Street, Redmond. And did that answer your question? I will say yes. And again, so basically what we have seen is all that conversation what is happening was driven by these topics. So if we go to topics tab here, we can see these are topics which are already configured and we were using. Similarly, we can quickly create a topic. Okay, name of topic, let's say maybe customer update details maybe. Can you help me updating my details? Another phrase which I'm just giving as a suggestion is I want to update my details. Can you confirm if my details can be updated here? And there can be more. I will save my topic, and now we just have basically given some suggestions, like these are phrases which can trigger a conversation, but we have not tell the bot based on response of these what bot should do. So to do that, there is looks like some error. What is that? Yeah. So we have configured these topics, but we have not told bot in response of these what message or action bot should do. Okay, let's say sure. We say sure I can help, and coming from here we can do further, like develop further conversation. After that, bot can ask a question, call a action. Action is Power Automate action. If you are not aware what Power Automate is, it is a platform from Microsoft similar to PVA, and it support doing integrations, automation, basically, and creating workflows. And same way without knowledge of any programming language. I will skip it for now. Let's add another message. Is it urgent? Maybe bot is asking, is it urgent? And maybe let's change it. If it is not urgent, now we will ask another question here. Please let me know how urgent it is. Now we can have here multiple, we can show multiple options. Let's say not urgent, urgent, and very urgent. So I'm just trying to minimize it again. So this is what conversation map will be. If bot detected a phrase similar to this one, control of chat will come here, then bot will show this message, after that this message, and finally this question. Now, since we have shown three different options, based on these options, further there will be three channels of conversation. We can give suggestions to bot what would be next. If it is not urgent, bot will just say, okay, send us an email maybe. If it is urgent, let's say show a message, mm, send us give us a call maybe. And finally, if it is very urgent, we will say sure. Bot will say sure, I can help. So that bot has a little attitude. So it will Just see if something is very urgent, only then it will help. I will save it. Okay, these are saved. And let me go back to home, and now we will again conversation has been started. Can I update my details? So you can see based on newly created topic, bot has triggered that topic and conversation is going in that direction. So this is the way, like any subject matter expert or anyone can develop a bot. We will just need to design our conversation, and just by drag, drop, and doing some configurations, it will be that easy to develop a bot. So if we say not urgent, we can see control went further on this track. And since we didn't configure anything further, so that eh, like that flow of conversation ends here. So if naturally, if that is the end, usually after that we will ask, okay, are you satisfied, or do you want to give us a rating? So that is pretty much it. So basically what I have showed is the capabilities of building bot and how easy it is to quickly, how easy and quickly we can develop and host a bot. A few more details. These bots, of course, at the time we are just chatting in PVA environment, but where we can host these bots. Very interestingly, under channels, we have Microsoft Team, demo website. Demo website will be any website, a custom website, mobile app, Facebook, Skype, Cortana, Slack, and a few other options are here. So that is basically pretty much the basic concept. Now this is a commercial product, and its its licensing cost is 1000 US dollars, and within that amount an organization can create unlimited bots. That is a huge package. Of course there are there are few limitations, but they can create unlimited bots. But there are limitations, like whatever the capacity of storage in dataverses and what the number of chat sessions a bot can have. So that is it. But more importantly, what usually we want to encourage and inform in community, this PVA bot, if like you are not after a commercial application, there is a sort of free version available. For it is not free entirely, but comparatively cheap with teams as well. So get started with that. And by the way, it is available with existing team licenses. And with that, what we need to do, we will go directly here under apps, and first of all we will need to go to Power Virtual Agent, open it. And you can recognize similar options. Some of the buttons will appear now, they are also similar to what we were looking at in PV environment. And of course they should be, because overall product is same. I need to select channel here, and let's say maybe notifications. Same way, body, same selection of languages which we have seen already. I will say create. It usually take a minute, sometime less, and sometime a little more than a minute, but hope we will be there. Yes, that's it. You can now compare this environment with here in what we were looking a few minutes back. Both have similar interface, and everything is almost similar. We have all options here available, which were available under web environment. One thing with 14, there are a few limitations. One of them is we can't host these, we can't share these both out of Microsoft Team. And the other one is everyone who is accessing this team, this bot should be part of that particular team. So that is another limitation. One more thing is with these one, we don't have unlimited capacity. We have provided storage is 2 GB, so we can create whatever bots are allowed in that space. Once that space is filled, we will not able to create more bots. And last bit is about since I just have demonstrated some basics like how we can configure, how easy it is to start using bots. To make it more powerful, we can use Power Automate, and Power Automate has capability to connect a bot with almost any system in cloud and even on premises systems as well using data gateway. So that is really a very strong product. And yeah, that is pretty much what I was aiming to demonstrate. Please, if there are any questions, I will try to reply those.
I don't see any question in the chat at the moment.
Yeah. That is fine. Let's, Stefano, I will make a move control back and will so we can continue with your demo further.
Sure, let's do that. All right. Well, thanks, Yaver. As I said, if there are any questions, please feel free to type in the chat or ask directly in voice. Let's carry on. So, Yaver show us how to build a bot with no coding. I'm gonna go and be a little bit more into coding, and I'll do it with a bot that is able to talk and recognize the voice. Okay, so let me start by sharing my screen. Well, is where is it? Here we go. Okay, there is nothing in there just yet, but as soon as I launch the the bot in the Visual Studio, it will pop up. Uh, Simple bot, okay? So don't expect anything particularly fancy here. It's not about the design, it's more about the functionality that I want to show you. And actually, I forgot to share with audio, otherwise you will not be able to hear Clancy. So let me try one more time. Share the sound, screen 2, here we go. All right, so now I'm sharing sound as well. All right, so Simplebot is showing a few options here, and as you can see, there is here a bullhorn and a microphone. The intention is exactly that one, to make Clancy talk or to make it done as a chat or to recognize the voice. Okay, so let's carry on. One second, I need to take the list of participants away because I've seen that some people were joining now, so I'll keep on adding people to the list to the participant. Here we go. All good. All right then. So I'm Clancy, a virtual agent. Should we hear him?
Hi, I'm Clancy, a virtual agent. I can help you with questions about your study and more. So, what can I help you with today? Please choose one of the following options. Participate in research. Find a researcher. Find an expert.
All right, so you have seen Clancy speaking, and this is a voice synthesis. So starting from a text, the bot was able to synthesize the voice, even adding a few extra, like choose one of the following options, and then listing the three buttons. And the reason is we want to make this bot as accessible as possible. So not only to those who can normally interact with a bot, pressing buttons and so on, but also with the possibility to hear what the bot is saying, and then interact with voice. Let's go in order though. So I want to show you the first part, which is the voice synthesis. So what am I using? I'm using this service here, which I'm going to put in the screen in a moment. Here we go. I'm using this service. It's part of the Azure Cognitive Services, and specifically is speech text to speech, which converts text to speech using a collection of different voices. So if you look into the documentation, there are a good number of neural voices. So these neural voices are as human as possible, voices that adjust during the synthesis to sound nearly indistinguishable from human recording. Okay, so there are a good number of languages, so from Arabic to Chinese to most of the European languages, and an incredible variety of also of English accent, Australian English, Indian English, United Kingdom, United States, and so on. And then for each voice, typically you have male and female version. Okay, so in this case, in the case of Clancy, I'm using a male voice, as you heard, with an Australian accent, or sort of. Okay, maybe we can try a different one. And the code for implementing this is basically starting in the Azure portal. Let me go. Sorry, I have so many windows open. Okay, starting from the Azure portal, I go and create a new resource, and I type speech. And when I create speech, I go and create the speech resource, enter a name for the speech, a location where I want to publish this service, and choose also a pricing tier. I have the possibility to choose whether I can use this service completely for free, excuse me, which will allow for one call per second, one transaction per second, one TPS, which is more than enough for development and testing purposes. Or obviously, once I want to scale, once I go live in production, I can opt for a standard tier, which is super cheap anyway to use. You spend like $1 for 1,000 of transactions, and I believe, if I'm not wrong, you can have up to 10 transactions per second, which is the moment you initiate a transaction. So 10 per second is pretty good. Now I don't need to create a new one. I already have the one that I'm using for Clancy. Now it takes really a minute to go through the process, enter the name, create button, and then all done. So I'm going to open the resource that I already created, just because I want to show you a couple of things that are essential to connect from your application to this service, which are the keys and an endpoint. Each resource is identified by a unique pair of key. You probably use only one, an endpoint, and a location where this service has been deployed, although this is not really essential. What is essential is the key and the endpoint. Then you see there are different resources that you can use to get started with the speech services. If you are developing an application, just follow the rules here, and then you will get all the different samples, including, in this case, text-to-speech, go on some good examples in C# on GitHub or in the documentation itself, and so on. Super easy. So let me show you this in action. Okay, so it really takes a few lines of code to get you started. First of all, actually, you use this namespace, which you will obtain from this package. Need to stop the application. Sorry, wrong. This one. From this new get package, which is opening in a moment, which is this one, Microsoft.cognitiveservices.speech. You add this to your solution, and then you have access to this namespace, which contains all the classes that you need to do recognition and synthesis. Okay, let's start from synthesis. Okay, because this one is the one that we were doing. So first of all, the speech config class is a sort of a factory that creates an object, a speech object, speech config object, in this case from a subscription, using the key and the location. Actually, in this case, it's the location, not the endpoint. I was wrong before. So key and location to identify your unique resource in Azure. Once you have your speech object, then you can do recognition and speak. Okay, so speak is the synthesis itself. Let's focus on the speaking now. And let me zoom in a little bit here so we can see it better. We need two objects really. One is the audio config. Where am I speaking to? There are different options that you can choose. You can speak so all the output to a default speaker, so it will play back on the speakers in your computer, or you can speak in output to a stream, so it will generate the synthesized voice in memory to a stream. Then you can use to save it as a file, to store it in a database, whatever you want to do with a stream. Or you want to save also directly to a file as a WAV format. The WAV format is the Windows native format. So if you were wondering, can I save it in MP3? Well, yes, but you have to save it, or you have to output first as a stream in memory, and then use some library to convert a stream, which at the end is a sequence of bytes, into MP3. Okay, so in this case, I'm outputting my my voice into the default speaker in output. Then I need the actual object that does all the magic, which is the speech synthesizer. So in this case, using my Azure, my speech config that I have initiated before from the subscription key, and using this audio config that I have allocated in the line before, I create a new object, which is a speech synthesizer. And in here, the speech synthesizer is speaking with a specific format. Now, let me tell you the first simple thing. You can just speak text. Okay, if you speak text, you can say hello world, and you can just type your text in here. And this will just speak the hello world at normal voice, default, according to your system, according to what is defined into as a default, as a built-in library. It depends on the local settings of your computer. But if you want to have a richer expression, instead of a speaking text, you will pick this other one, which is a speak SSML. SSML is the speech synthesis markup language. Is an XML language, or markup language, for preparing your text that you want to speak with some attributes to make it sound a bit more natural, including voice, pitch, speed, pauses, and so on. So again, what you would normally do, you go to the documentation for the SSML the speech synthesis markup language. And you can see it all starts with the XML with the tag speak. Inside speak, you have a voice, and then you put the name of the voice. Okay, so in this case, speak voice ENUS Jenny. Then you can start adding, so you can have multiple voices. Okay, so you can start adjusting the speaking style. So you can do some expression like you see is cheerful, empathetic, calm, customer service, angry. So you can add a little bit of a tone of a mood to the voice and a few other things. Okay, so it's a long documentation, longish, not too long, to sort of personalize the expression of your voice. In my case, I'm taking this super simple, okay? So you see, I'm using this private function to build the SSML by using just the voice. So the speaker, which is fixed, and then the specific voice and text. And the voice, in this case, I'm using William, so a male voice with an English Australian accent. And obviously I'm using the neural voice because the neural voice will support all these attributes. So basically by passing these two parameters, the text and the voice name, I can personalize this. So if we go back to the documentation with all the voices, not this, but this one. So let's pick another one, okay? So let's take this Jenny neural, which is with an American accent, okay? So if we go back here and change from William to Jenny the American and run this one more time, that should change in the window that opens in a moment. Here we go. And then we should hear Clancy speaking with a female voice.
Hi, I'm Clancy, a virtual agent. I can help you with questions about your study and more. So, what can I help you with today? Please choose one of the following options. Participate in research. Find a researcher. Find an expert.
All right, so you got also that has a little bit more of an American accent, you know, the way they pronounce, she pronounces research, researcher, expert, and so on. All right, anyway, I'm not the expert in languages by all means. Let's carry on now and go into the second option, which is, or the second capability, which is this microphone. Now, ignore this choose file upload. This is another capability for uploading file. This is out of scope for today. Let's focus on the microphone. So the bot is asking a question here, right? So I can choose just pressing the button and will choose obviously the option and show the answer for that option itself. But let me start over again. Now, instead of choosing the button, I can also type and it will do natural language understanding. But in this case, I want to speak to Clancy, participate in research. Here we go. So it's been extremely accurate. It recognized my voice and found out the correct answer. Now, if you don't believe me, I can say something else. Today is the 25th of March. You see? And it did recognize what I said, despite my accent, which is amazing. And then obviously there is no answer that match the options. So I'm sorry, I did not understand that. Okay, and so the recognition obviously works. So how does it work? Now the service that I used is the other one that was just here. So it's still part of this. You're still going to use a speech. So it's the same subscription, it's the same key and location. But instead of using the text to speech capability, you are going to use, where is my documentation? Where did it go? Ah, here we go. You're going to use that speech to text. Okay, so it will transcribe speech into text. All right, so close this, recognize async. Now, as you have noticed, all these functions are all asynchronous. So I'm using the async await pattern because all these APIs so all these services here are exposed as a REST API, and this manage package will just communicate with this API in an asynchronous way using an HTTP client connection and sending a JSON payload or and return and obtaining back the response all in an asynchronous way. All right, now in this case, we are doing exactly the same as we have seen before for speak, but in the mirror in some way. So for speaking, I'm using the output audio config. In recognition, I'm using the input, but in this case, the input is my microphone, okay? So the options are microphone input, stream input, wave input. So if I have a file, I can upload the file and do the recognition from the file. So if you have if you do your own recording somewhere else, and then you save your file somewhere in MP3 or in WAV format, then you can upload it to this speech to text API, and then it will do all the transcription into text for you. So once you obtain your input, then the equivalent for speech recognition is a speech recognizer. So here we have the synthesizer, here we have the recognizer, okay? And the recognizer has an additional attribute, which is the locale. The locale is a string in this format, EN, US, for example, if you expect the language to be English American, or it can be in Australia, or it can be France, Spain, Italy, and so on. So again, there is a long list of languages that are supported. In this case, this is a parameter that is passed by the bot, and it is defaulted to Australian in this case because this bot works for an Australian customer, but it is configurable, right? So you can pass whatever parameter you want. There is also an advanced capability, which is try your best to recognize the voice, the language. So you can omit the locale and say try to recognize by yourself with decent accuracy if the length of the audio is significant, at least 20-30 seconds. All right, once you have the speech recognizer, asynchronous call to the recognize once, and then you get the result. Why recognize once? Recognize once runs for a file that or from the input, typically up to 15 seconds. So it's a very short input. If you have a long recognition that you want to do, you will start a continuous recognition. You see, start a continuous recognition, and then from time to time, this will send this object will trigger an event. Will trigger an event. This is a session start, a session stop, recognize, speech start, the sort of things that you can handle to show the transcription on screen. Why is that? Well, in this case, not that we have seen before, in the bot, not here, but in the other window, I closed the window, of course. Well, in the window that I opened before in the bot, when I pressed the microphone was blinking and listening to my voice. And then it stopped once the recognition was complete, right? So this one here. No, so let me try one more time and I say, find a researcher. You see, so if I get so it doesn't stay long waiting. So to make it wait for longer, you need to use the continuous. But what's the problem? The problem is that the continuous will keep on waiting until you finish talking, and it will never write something back until you're done talking, which is a bit annoying, right? So you want something a little bit more in real time. As you start talking, then the transcription to show up nearly in real time or so. So to do so, you need to do a little bit more on the advanced things. So start the continuous recognition and then intercept or handle the event for recognition. Anyway, it's all documented online how to do it. Super simple. At the end, as you can see, return if the speech has been recognized, then return the text which has been recognized. Otherwise, just nothing, an empty string. Okay. And again, job done. Super simple. This recognition works in really a few lines. Speaking and recognition in a few lines. Once you have created the resource in Azure. All right. That's it, actually. That's all I wanted to show you for today. So again, Azure Cognitive Services, just search for it, Azure Cognitive Services, they will come out on top of your search result. Speech, speech to text, and text to speech, full of documentation, step by step to create application. You don't have to use the C# necessarily. This is a REST API, so you can do in different programming languages. And there should be a lot of different let me see. There was somewhere. Here we go. You see, so there are references in C++, C#, Go language, Java, JavaScript, Objective-C, Python. So you can really build application in many programming languages, and also using a big variety of languages for recognition and for synthesis. And then for synthesis, keep in mind that you can personalize the expression of voice, making as natural as possible using SSML, which is an XML tag language, a markup language, where you have to build the expression. So there is a tag, for example, called break somewhere. Here we go, where you can introduce a break. And there is also something for a pitch. See, where introduce a pitch like high pitch, low pitch, all these sort of things, and the speed, volume, and so on. Okay, so you can really make it fun and as natural as possible. All right, any questions on this? I can see there is a question in the chat around the PBA. So yeah, Barry, if you're still there, can you answer the question on PBA, please?
Yes, Stefano, that is about can we use premium connectors? I think that can we use premium connectors with the okay. So basically, question is if we can use Power Automate's premium connectors or connections when we are with team using PVA with team. That is basically with team licensing is not possible, not allowed. But but if we separately have licenses to premium premium connections, we can use that.
Okay, very good. And the second one is, are there any limitations of PVA? Well, there are a lot of limitations, right? So one that I can think of, you don't have too much control of the UI, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was also thinking, reading that same. And Stefano, you once developed a board from PVA to migrate, if I'm correct, because of it was not accessible that time. Is was that the limitation?
Very true. Yes, yes. Some limitation on accessibility with some screen readers. Not great. I mean, decent, but not excellent. So I had a personal experience of that, and I had to develop or personalize the output of PVA to make a bit more accessible. Yes. So this is a double A or triple A accessibility guidelines. Yeah, good point.
And I think one more thing is, though we have under channels, we have many channels. There are a few channels which are generic, like websites or mobile apps, but only we can deploy to those channels. If you are thinking anything other than these channels at the time, there is no way we can do that. So that is another limitation. But still, if please, if you if you consider it as a sort of low code no code approach, which is just to facilitate the work, and basically it enables a business user or any person who don't have a development experience, they can create the boards and these sort of things. So basically that is of course there are some limitations, but for those, that is why we have other Microsoft products as well. Like if you need more control, you want to do something very sophisticated and everything, if you are looking to be having as per your requirements, then of course we can go for programming approaches.
All right, beautiful. Thanks, everybody. We have our scheduled the next three events. I don't think I have announced that yet, but I will do soon. They are in a month from now, April 22nd, May 20th, and June 24th. So we're trying to stick to the last or so Thursday of the month. Always at 6 p.m. East Australian time as Melbourne time. So the topics you see on screen will focus on robotic automation in the healthcare industry, emergency response for students, and data analysis of water systems in Power BI. And we have some excellent guest speakers for all these three events. So they are already there on the meetup, but I will make a proper announcement with the details of the topics in the next few weeks. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for being here tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you in a month.
Thanks all. Thanks, Stefano. Thank you, everyone.